All right, so let's start with today's webinar. Hello everyone, a very warm greeting to one and all. My name is Srigauri Krishnakumar and I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar on health informatics. Health informatics is a rapidly growing field that involves collecting and analyzing healthcare data and creating new job opportunities where computers and care providers work together. It's pretty closely related to the field of public health, and with the increasing use of big data analytics in the healthcare field, the demand for health informatics jobs is predicted to increase over the next decade. Considering the scope and degree of complexity in health informatics, we have designed the Machine Learning for Health Informatics program to skill up individuals who may come from the healthcare as well as data science domain. And in today's webinar, we are joined by Dr. Jeet Sarkar, Senior Bioinformatics Scientist at Elucidata, who will be introducing the participants to the field of healthcare informatics. This will be followed by sharing of program details and the registration process. So before we begin with today's webinar, let me also take a brief moment to introduce you to the team behind the program. We are a US-based bioinformatics company who is working with multiple academic and commercial collaborators to develop easy to use analytical tools, and our mission is to make bioinformatics more accessible. And as a part of the program, students will have access to the OmicsLogic training that has been completed by over 24,000 participants from 187 countries in over 300 workshops. And due to this fast growth, our team is working with local and regional coordinators that are helping refine local program logistics and adapting them to the needs of students and researchers around the world. And this training has been completed by participants in 6 different specialization tracks that includes oncology, infectious diseases, precision medicine, neuroscience, data science for biomedical data, and comprehensive training on omics data analysis. Students will also have access to the OmicsLogic resources, but how does it help advance bioinformatics teaching? OmicsLogic is a portal for practical and theoretical learning of bioinformatics. It takes a combination of training modules, data analysis tools, curated project data sets, and interactive sessions with mentors to give the student a clear path up the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. And no matter what the user's initial experience with bioinformatics is, OmicsLogic is a useful tool for gaining a baseline knowledge of the theory behind bioinformatics, like R and Python, or even beginning a data analysis project. This also comes with an access to the OmicsLogic courses, which includes courses on bioinformatics, precision medicine, multi-omics, that includes genomics, transcriptomics, metagenomics, and epigenomics, data science, that includes bioinformatics using R and Python, as well as cheminformatics, and example projects of different fields which you could learn from and replicate for your research work. And the users will be given directions to access the T-Bioinfo platform for bioinformatic processing and analysis of data. And the platform includes demo pipelines as well as data management and analysis cloud infrastructure to run the bioinformatic pipelines. And different stages of analysis are performed in different sections on this multi-omics platform. To view the various courses, example projects, student projects, you need to first sign up on the OmicsLogic Learn portal. Before that, let me walk you through a brief demo on what a completed profile on the portal looks like. So once you sign up on the portal, these are the features that you need to update on your account. That is, a completed profile will have a profile image, full name with appropriate capitalization, link to your social media handles, a brief bio about yourself. The mentors can view your progress under the Activity tab. The courses you are currently completing will appear under the Courses tab. Finally, after the completion of your course, the certificates will appear under the Certificates tab. And so with that, let us begin by signing up on the OmicsLogic Learn portal. So here I'm sharing the link to the portal in the chat box. So those of you who have not signed up on the portal, please visit the link and I'll walk you through the demo on how to sign up on the portal. So for those of you who are new and want to create an account on the portal, please click on the Create an Account option that you see here. So once you click on, you will be asked to enter your name, email address, and password. Or you can also sign up using any of your social media accounts, that is Google, Facebook, Apple account, GitHub account, or even Twitter. And for those participants who already have an account on the portal, you can simply click on the login now option and simply sign in. So I'll pause for a couple of seconds so that the participants can sign up on the portal. And once you have signed up, please put a yes in the chat box so that I can know that I can proceed further. And for those of you who already have an account on the portal, you can simply leave a done in the chat box so that I can know that as well. And if you're having any queries along the way, you can share that as well, and I'll be happy to guide you. So I'm expecting responses from the 15 plus participants that are there. All right, so I'm just going to proceed ahead and sign up, but along the way, if you're having any queries, please feel free to share in the chat box. So once you sign in, you will be able to view the various courses and example projects that are there on the portal. So to find out any specific course, you can simply enter the keyword that you're looking for, such as machine learning, and that will give you all the courses and example projects that makes use of this concept. And now coming to the part where you have to update your account on the portal, you can simply click on the tab that says welcome back with your email ID. And here you'll see a icon that says profile. So once you click on that, you can edit all the necessary details that I mentioned in the slide. That is your bio, profile image, name with appropriate capitalization, and link to your social media handles. And as mentioned previously, the community manager and the mentor of the program will be tracking your learning progress under the activity tab, and the courses that you're currently completing will appear under the courses tab. And once you complete a project and upload it on the portal, it will be displayed under the projects tab. And once you enroll for any of the programs, such as machine learning for health informatics, that will be displayed under the programs tab. And once you complete the required courses, course assignments and quizzes, the certificates will appear under the certificate tab. So with that, if the participants have no further queries, let us move on to the next part of today's webinar. So for that, I'd like to give the participants a brief introduction to today's speaker, that is Dr. Sarkar. Dr. Sarkar is a physician scientist with a keen interest in data analytics and precision medicine. He is passionate about finding meaning out of biomedical data and leveraging them for better clinical outcomes. His work generally involves offering meaningful and translational guidance to biological and healthcare organizations. Currently working as senior bioinformatics scientist, I'm sure we will be able to learn a lot about the field and opportunities from him. And with that, now I'd like to pass on the stage to Dr. Sarkar. The stage is all yours, sir.
Thanks, Srigauri.
Yes, sir.
So let me share my screen.
Yes, sir.
I guess it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So hello guys. Today's webinar would mainly cover the course content which we will be offering from Jan next year. So the course is named as Machine Learning in Health Informatics. We will be having two parts of the course. One is the theoretical understandings, followed by some hands-on training. So today the course content will be covering mainly the topics and the topics details, which we will cover in the coming 3 months in the course. So just to introduce me, I was trained as a clinical graduate, basically a clinician. Then I shifted my career towards the domain of bioinformatics and health informatics. So I upskilled myself into the domain of data and data analytics. And now what I do is I combine multiple data types to build predictive models, ML-based models for a specific clinical outcome. This covers use cases from the hospital-based organizations, from the drug discovery companies, to the life insurance providers. So for today's webinar, I have kept it in three particular subsections. First, I will cover the overview of health informatics, which we will be teaching in this particular course. Then I will briefly walk through the types of health informatics data. And lastly, I will cover the case study structure, which we will be following in the course. So overview of health informatics. So the first slide is how informatics is transforming healthcare in this particular stage of AI and machine learning. So as you can see, there are mainly three broad categories of health informatics. The first is patient care. The next major thing is business process and management. The third one is drug discovery and companies for pharmaceuticals. So for the domain of patient care, health informatics can be used to solve problems where we can manage efficiently appointments, clinical visits, waiting duration to the clinic. We can have precise diagnostics for particular diseases. We can prevent diseases by detecting them at an earlier stage. One important thing is patient triage. So a hospital would be containing, suppose, 1,000 patients. We need to stratify them into high risk, moderate risk, or low risk. And this triage is very important for patient care. So this triage is also done based on informatics. And lastly, imaging and diagnostic, CT scan images, X-ray images, any biomarker discovery, all these things also fall under the purview of health informatics. For the business process and management, there is something called process automation. So in business, so generating business reports, generating interactive and flexible reports is something which is also a very useful use case. Claims administration, that involves mainly predicting the cost of or the burden of patient or the high risk patients from the past claims history, medical claims history. So that is very important for the industry of healthcare claims. Customer churn. So what is the footfall in your particular clinic? When does the footfalls increase? In which month of the year? What are the factors that increases? So these things also fall in the purview of business management. Then chatbot, and lastly, business insights. For the drug discovery companies or pharmaceuticals, the majority is drug discovery. So identifying drug targets, so identifying molecular targets, gene targets, planning, logistics planning, and lastly, improving clinical trials. So which clinical trial, how can we manage clinical trials more efficiently? So these things fall under the purview of drug discovery and pharmaceuticals. So these are the major three industries where informatics is actually transforming the healthcare gradually. So what do we provide? So if I just try to bucket the solutions, so I talked about the problem. Now if I come to the solutions, so what are the solutions, informatics-based solutions, which are there in the healthcare domain? So I have just mentioned 6 major categories. The first one is prediction. So prediction is actually predicting a clinical outcome or any outcome from some particular predictors or features. The next part is cluster identification. So suppose we have a cluster of patients. Now we want to identify that which cluster is a high risk group, which is a low risk group, which is a moderate risk group. So these things also we can do using the AI-based techniques. Nowadays, there's a very trend of using Fitbits and wearables, which help us stream real-time data, blood pressure data, and pulse data. So all these things, we use time series modeling for prediction. So to predict a clinical outcome, predict a sudden clinical outcome. So these things we do using time series analytics. Then there is something called image analytics. So for image, we have CT scan image, we have X-ray images. So all these things, we also use informatics for the purpose. Lastly, we have also have clinical notes. So OCR is a very important technique which we use for informatics. So in case of OCR, we actually scan clinical notes, handwritten notes, extract the information from there, then apply NLP-based techniques to generate insights, maybe the most frequently occurring diseases or the most frequent complaint and all these things. And this also falls under the domain of informatics. Lastly, we can combine these major solutions to build up customized solutions. So I just gave three particular more specific use cases. So we can identify cancer subtypes for more precise therapy, because as you know that cancer is a disease where some persons are respond to chemotherapy, some don't respond. Some respond to a particular drug regimen, some don't respond. So if we can detect the cancer subtypes, that can help us to inject a particular specific drug regimen, which is known as precision therapy, that is also done using health informatics. We can detect and classify tumors from X-ray image and CT scan. And lastly, a very interesting thing is mental health nowadays. And by using social network posts, by using NLP, we can detect mental health problems. So this is an overview of the modeling which we use for health informatics. So first of all, we do have multiple types of data. So being able to explore the data types, having a know-how of how they look, where to find them, how to structure them, how to make them very simple for predictive purpose. So that's a very big challenge in health informatics. So we generally have electronic health records, we have wireless devices, we have medical devices, clinical notes. So there are multiple types of data sources. Now, all these data sources have to be converted into a machine readable format for modeling purpose. So this is a very important area of healthcare data. And this requires lots of expertise and insight to do that. So the first step is data preparation from these multiple data sources. After data preparation, we can bucket them into specific subgroups, demographic features, comorbid conditions, surveys, vitals, like that. And those things we can input to a training set for the model training, and we can use them to predict a particular clinical outcome. And we will also test it into a different and independent set, and we can use it in that fashion. Now, as new data comes in, the training would become more and more precise, and the model would get updated accordingly. So this is a very general overview of modeling. So I just wanted to mention it. So we will be using multiple types of modeling. We will be learning multiple modeling techniques in the course, more specific. And of course, we will also be doing some very hands-on experience from our example data set and predicting the condition from ourselves. So any questions so far?
No, sir. It looks like no one has any queries so far, but if the participants are having any queries along the way, please feel free to share it in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. So we can proceed, sir.
Okay. So now I will go to the very high level understanding of the health informatics data types. So there are multiple types of data, and actually you can imagine every sort of biomedical data, biotech data, healthcare data, free clinical notes, social network posts, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, everything can be used in the context of healthcare informatics. Even the your dietary intake, the the dietary level of the chips which you take or any fast food. So everything and anything is actually can be used to build very important use cases for health informatics. But I will cover the most frequent and mostly used things. So the first of it is EMRs. So what are EMRs? EMRs are actually electronic medical records. So it's like in majority of the countries, they have implemented the EMR. So instead of capturing all the clinical notes, we have the digitized format. So those EMRs are actually a content structured and semi-structured data, and this EMR is a very rich source of healthcare data. Next is medical images. So images can be X-ray, CT scan, MRI. So these are mainly static images. We can also have video images of suppose fetal scan and fetal anomaly scan, endoscopy, bronchoscopy. So all sort of image and videos, these fall under the domain of medical images. And these for medical image analysis, we do need a very specific set of skill and specific set of algorithms, which mainly fall under the domain of computer vision. So computer vision is what drives medical imaging and medical image classification. Next is histopathology. So actually, our body consists of organs, tissues, and cells. So microscopic tissue sections is what we call as histology. So, and the microscopic appearance of a particular tissue in case of a disease versus in case of a healthy person is different. So identifying those microscopic differences by using machine learning techniques is what falls under the pathological health informatics. Lastly, all students who come from the biotech domain, we know multi-omics data. So multi-omics contains genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. There are also other omics data. So, and this high throughput data of genomics and mass spectrometry, these are also used for health informatics cases. So nowadays, people are talking about precision therapy in cancer. In cancer, you profile the particular tissue, you profile the particular genomic structure of the tissue, you profile it using single cell transcriptomics, you find out the main genes which are perturbed for that patient, and you give them a very precise drug as per that particular gene profile. Next is epidemiological data. So epidemiology actually consists of population level data. So socioeconomic background, education, public health conditions, what is the literacy, what is the socioeconomic status, how many cars do I own, what is my lifestyle. And these all things fall under the category of epidemiological data. And actually from this data, we can find out very, very useful insights of multiple diseases. So suppose in the context of COVID, we can find out that which are the main geographical pockets from which COVID is more concentrated. In the context of any lifestyle disease, we can tell that in which particular population, whether it's male or female or males from which particular part of the country, they are more prone to develop diabetes and other diseases. So this helps us to detect population level insights so that we can change the public health policy accordingly. And there also we use informatics. Then I already mentioned about time series data. These are mainly data, live streaming data coming from Fitbits and wearables, like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch like that. And from that, we can predict time series analysis, and we can predict a particular event which is going to come. So in the context of geriatric population, there is one important use case called fall prediction. So basically, geriatric people tend to fall very often because of the lack of proper homeostasis in the blood pressure. So the blood pressure suddenly drops down. So if we can predict from the past records of blood pressure that this person is going to have the blood pressure gradually dropping down, and hence an impending fall. So we can maybe give an alert or a notification to the particular person and the concerned healthcare workers or the relatives to tell that this person is going to have a particular fall. And actually, fall incidents do cause a huge burden on the healthcare system in the West as well as in the East. So it's a very important use case for the healthcare organizations. So clinical notes. So actually, EMRs are not yet implemented in majority of the countries. We still have clinical notes, and these clinical notes are actually they are there in sort of silos. They are isolated. They are not usable for informatics or insight generation. So we have to convert the clinical notes to a digital format. Now, this conversion of clinical notes to digital format, we use something called OCR. Now, after OCR, we use something called natural language processing, or NLP. This OCR NLP helps us to extract clinical note into digital format and then provide insights. And lastly, social network data. So you can do sentiment analysis from Twitter posts that this person is having this sentiment as detected by their multiple posts over the last 6 months. So that tells me that this person is a high risk for a depression and maybe a suicide. So this suicide detection and all the mental health problems, this we can do from the these sort of data. So again, so this variety of data and combining all sorts of data into the by data specific format for a particular prediction or insight generation, this is what health informatics consists of. And we will be going to have a very good understanding of this particular thing in the course, and we will be going to discuss 2 to 3 case studies in this course, and also with a hands-on session. So now the challenges. So I told that the challenge majorly is in data quality and infrastructure. So data is in different formats across different countries, across different spaces. So we have to, if we want to combine data, if we want to do a meta-analysis, we have to structure data in the same format. So this data cleaning and data structuring is a very big problem and challenge for informatics. Next is data collection. So data collection is very, very restricted and very, very well sort of maintained for and governed for healthcare data, because it can be used for, it can be misused for different cases. And lastly, the data science skills. The skill set and at least a good amount of expert people with this skill set is truly lacking in the health informatics industry. And given the growth of healthcare data in the coming decade, that is going to be a very, very extensive requirement of health informatics skill set. And that's what actually this program aims to cover, to develop this knowledge and skills of various data sources and data types, followed by a hands-on learning with a few use cases. So now I will just cover the last slide. It's the case study structure. So as I told, we will be implementing and we will be teaching 2 use cases, 2 case studies in this particular session. The first thing, we will be introducing the participants to the case study. We will discuss the background of the case study and the objective of the case study. Next, we will give you a clean data. We will tell you how to look at the data overview. The next part is the data exploration. So you will be importing the data into your particular notebook and you will explore it. This is something called EDA, or exploratory data analysis. Next part is model building. So once we explore the data, we will select that which is the target variable, that which variable we want to predict, and which are the predictors. So features which we will be using for the prediction. And lastly, the model. So there are different types of model, as I have told: supervised model, unsupervised model. In the supervised model, multiple different regression and random forest and XGBoost and neural networks. So we will be discussing some of them, and we will be discussing about one particular model. And after we have built the model, we will do the model validation. So our model works good in the context of a known data. Suppose I know 10 students, and I know that in these 10 students, those 2 are actually good performers, and those 8 are not good performers. So if you tell me to predict the score of these 10 students in the final exam, I can predict it very well, because I know that they are good and they are not that much good. So model validation is where you take a model and you use the model to predict the unknown people, those people whom I don't know. So this is called model validation. And from there, we can have some metrics called accuracy, sensitivity, and specificity. There are also other metrics. So this matrix helps us to gauge uh, the model accuracy and the model validation. Lastly, there is something called interpretable AI. So I would say just 1 decade back, we were very focused into building models, building machine learning models, doing some predictions. And if a model is 90%, 80%, 85% accurate, people are very happy with that. But in the case of healthcare informatics, only your model performance is not going to convince the physicians or any healthcare provider to use it. You have to provide them proper interpretation. And this is called as explainable or interpretable AI. So you have to tell the clinician or the healthcare worker that my model has predicted that this person is actually a high-risk patient. And my model tells that this person contains these features. And because the person contains these features, that's why it's a high-risk patient. So we have to explain the model internal logic to the clinician, and that is where we use interpretable AI or model interpretation. So we will also briefly talk about the interpretable AI in the course. So this is the base case study structure. So again, just to summarize, we will be discussing about the theoretical understanding. We will be discussing about the different data sources for health informatics. We will be discussing about the different solutions for health informatics. And lastly, we will download one particular data set, and we will give you a hands-on training for 2 particular case studies from healthcare informatics domain. And we will also walk through the model building and validation and model interpretation. So that's all for today. I guess if there are some questions, I can take them up.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarkar. So we have one query in the chat. The first one is, Harish is asking, what are the pre-processing steps?
Okay. So in this case, for our course, we will be giving you very clean data. But yes, as you have told correctly, so if data is not clean, then we actually do some data imputation based on the particular case. So suppose we are doing a case control study, and we do have some information for some laws. In that case, we can do a group by imputation. For pre-processing, suppose all the features are not normalized. So if we build a model, then the role of one feature would be so massive, the coefficient of one feature would be so massive that it would not allow the other coefficients to express themselves. In that case, we have to do some sort of data scaling. The last thing is, another thing is feature selection. So before model building, there's something called feature selection. And that's a very important thing. And feature selection again depends on the model which we are building. To tell in simple terms, suppose we are using a simple linear regression model. In that case, we can use first exploratory data analysis to find out which features are show some significant difference in the model output. We can select them. There are other approaches called information gain approaches, which tells you that this is the top features which should be selected. There's something called mutual information gain. But if the model is a very difficult model, suppose there is one category of model called mixed effect regression model. In that case, also we have to do the feature selection in a very in a very customized pattern. But yes, feature selection, data processing is a big challenge, and again, it depends on the data type. Suppose if you are doing some image processing, in that case, that would be a different challenge. If you are doing some NLP based thing, so now NLP problem can depend from question answering problem, NER problem, then there are different type of problems. So depending on the particular problem, you have to proceed with the data preparation. I guess in this particular course, because it's a general course for everybody, we will be focusing or limiting ourselves to a very particular 2 case studies. But we also do have something called mentor guided program. In that case, you can come with your own use cases and we can maybe walk through those, solve them very minutely in a one-to-one manner.
Thank you, sir. I hope your query got answered, Harish. And Yuvav has raised his hand. Yuvav, would you like to ask your query?
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the presentation. It was quite insightful. But I have a problem with one of the approaches what you just finished discussing, because in the real world, they are going to be giving us messy data. And in the course, for example, you said we are going to get clean data. And we might not actually get the exact skill set to be able to deal with some of the different kind of data that we will get. So what I'm trying to say is, wouldn't it be appropriate for you to actually walk us through like the messy kind of data? Because the goal for me is to get to get a job, right? And leaving that phase of, which is very, very important in the model training, out of the equation will actually kind of make my learning process not effective. So that's basically my own take, that if it is possible, can you guys make it that we'll have data that we can do this EDA, do some pre-processing with your guidance and see how it works? Thank you.
Yes. So just to answer your question, so I guess it was verb, no?
Sorry?
The question came from?
Yuvav, sir.
Yeah, yes. So you have in the course, second session, we will be introducing you to at least 30 data sources. These are all open source data sources. As you have mentioned, we will also introduce you to the multimodal data resources. And there are some clean sources, there are some unclean and very dirty sources. Now, for the sake of a common syllabus, we do have to keep, we do have to adjust the, what do I say, the level to a sort of a middle standard where people from different sources can go through it. But yes, we do have that thing also in our mind, and I guess that's also from the Pine Biotech team, that because now these queries are coming out, we can maybe modulate a few sessions or for a complex case and just walk through a very complex dirty data, how to clean the data. And if you have something on your mind, you can also do via the mentorship program to give you a more hands-on useful training for handling dirty and messy data.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yoya. And then we have another query from Dr. Ghazal. What about feature selection and dimensionality reduction?
Yes, so Dr. Ghazal, as so I already told about feature selection. So feature selection, we would be talking in this particular course. So in the two case studies, in one case study, we will cover the supervised learning. In the other case study, we will cover the unsupervised learning. So dimensional reduction techniques we will talk about in the second course, and we will briefly, then I will introduce the PCA. If time permits, I will also try to introduce the TSNE and UMAP components. And again, so because these are very specific use cases, suppose now one person wants to have a hands-on on dimensional reduction, one person on multimodal learning, somebody else on pre-processing. And so I guess the best route would be to go to a mentor guided one-on-one session. From that, we can take on these particular courses and particular use cases and solve them accordingly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarkar. So I guess if the participants are having any queries, please share it in the chat. All right. Thank you, Dr. Ghazal. All right. So if there are no more queries, we'd like to move on to the next part. So thank you so much, Dr. Sarkar, for joining today's webinar and answering the participants' queries. And with that, now I'd like to invite Ms. Sparshthar to discuss about the program details and the registration process. So over to you, Sparsh.
Thank you so much, Sri Gauri, and thank you, Dr. Sarkar, for such comprehensive session. It was very interesting. So let me share my screen. Sri Gauri, could you please confirm if you can see my screen, if it's visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Perfect. So hello everyone, my name is Sparshthar and I'm the marketing manager here at Pine Biotech. So I'll be quickly guiding you through the registration part, the resources which you have access to when you'll be a part of this program, and then the pricing and the scholarship. So as you can see that the name of the program is Machine Learning for Health Informatics Case-Based Learning. And it's in collaboration with Dr. Jeet Sarkar and obviously our company Pine Biotech. And the program is going to commence on 11th January 2023. So as we move further, so you can see the program overview. So if one would enroll in this particular program, so you will learn to utilize medical informatics data by applying machine learning aspects, and how this data science and machine learning aspects is imparting a positive impact on the patient and physician relationship. Then the second is the mentor guidance. So the guidance of you'll be having guidance from industry and academic mentors to apply health informatics and solve various case-based questions, problem. There would be Q&A sessions, there would be one-on-one mentor sessions, etc. Now in this particular program, we will be helping the participants to transitioning from the beginner level to an advanced level by going through with some of the topics as data acquisition, data structuring, workflow selection, cross-validation for healthcare and clinical data analysis, etc. And now comes the most important part, that is the analysis of the data types. So the participants would be learning from different data sources in health informatics, like electronic health records, diagnostic test results, medical scans, and biomedical data and their integration for healthcare research. After the program is over, so obviously you might have a question that what would be the opportunities, what like how we'll get a career guidance, if there is a certificate or not. So definitely our industry and academic mentors would help you, guide you how you can further collaborate and increase your networking with other mentors in the same field. How like there would be 24/7 support from the OmicsLogic project team, whether it's technical or the mentor guidance, and then they will guide you how there are different job opportunities in this particular field, how you can apply in different job opportunities based on your skills requirement, the job description, etc. So this all would be covered in short. Now, when you scroll down, you can see interactive sessions like a calendar, and here it's like you will see some highlighted dates when we'll be conducting all these sessions. And on the right hand side, or maybe your left hand side of your laptop side, so there are list of the sessions which we'll be covering throughout the program, throughout the tenure of the program. So the first session that we'll be commencing is on January 11th. It's the introduction to the program. And here the topics like AI in transforming healthcare, investments in AI for healthcare, how data science is transforming healthcare, the challenges in the health informatics, predictive model workflow, multimodal approach for precision medicines, and obviously there would be a Q&A session. Following this first session, the second session is on data sources. Then the third would be example one overview, and then the data analysis, conclusions, example two overview, data and analysis. So it would be totally based on case-based learning, and side by side we'll be covering topics like clustering techniques, post-clustering tasks, then clinical implications of clustering, other possible use cases, clinical relevance, product development, real-world applications, etc. So this was a brief about the curriculum. And when you will scroll down, you will see there are 3 different tenures in which you could be a part of. And the first is 45 days, second is the 60 days, and third is the 90 days. So there are some of the common resources which everyone would have access to in all the 3 tenures, that is online tutorials, project examples, coding sessions, session recordings, online mentor support, online technical support, and obviously the certificate after completion of the program. And then we have a T-bioinfo server. So you would have access to the demo pipelines of those T-bioinfo server for the analysis part also. Now, what's the difference between the 3? In the 60 days tenure, you will have 2 different opportunities. One is the one-on-one mentor sessions. So for example, while going through with the session, you got stuck somewhere, you want to clarify your doubts and queries with the mentor, we can organize a one-on-one exploratory meet of yours with the mentor, and you can get your queries and questions clarified. And the second is after your 45 days of training is over, the rest of the 15 days you would be devoting towards preparing a proper research proposal and experimental design. So how whatever you have learned like a conceptual and theoretical basis, how you can apply it in a real life application. So definitely our mentor, that is Dr. Sarkar, he would help you. He'll evaluate your research proposal. He'll see if there are any changes that need to be done. He'll guide you accordingly, and then you can move further by developing your independent research project also. So and in the 90 days, again, you have 2 opportunities. With one-on-one mentor sessions, you have an opportunity to work on an independent research project. So the first 45 days would be devoted to your training, and the next 45 days would be devoted to your development of an independent research project. So which includes the literature review, the data set finalization, the methodology, the results, interpretation of those results, and then the report writing in manuscript. So this is the major difference between the 3 tenures, 45, 60, and 90. Now, as you can see on my screen, that the pricing here is right now in INR, and it would be mostly for the Asian community, etc. So for 45 days, it is 7,500. For 60 days, it is 9,999, and then for 90 days, it's 14,999, 15,000. Now, those who are from different locations, and for example, those who are from US, they can simply click on this drop down menu and change their currency into USD, into dollars. If someone is from Brazil, they can change into Brazilian currency. And if someone is from Africa, they can change accordingly into Naira. So here are a few of the currencies which we have mentioned. And according to your place, according to your location, you can change here from this drop down menu. For example, I've changed it into dollars right now. So the pricing for 45 days in dollars is $150, for 60 it's 300, and for 90 it's 450. And right now we are providing everyone with a 50% scholarship on, like, because of it's a offer of for the Christmas or the New Year Eve. So if you can, I'll just show you how you can proceed further with the payment. You need to simply sign up on this Learn portal, and you can redirect towards this link. I guess Shubham has already shared the steps to register in the chat box, so you can copy paste somewhere in the notes and you can follow those steps. So you need to simply click here on Buy Now button. You will be redirected to this page, and the coupon code for the 50% is health 50. Click on apply. Coupon is applied successfully. You can see here the total was $150. After applying 50% coupon, the total amount is $75. You need to fill here your user details. Click on this checkbox and select the Stripe payment mode, and fill out your card details and click on this Buy Now button. So this is how you can simply proceed with the payment checkout. So the steps are really very easy. And yeah, so this was all about the registration part, the fees, the scholarship, etc. Now if anyone is having any doubt regarding the registration or the resources or any kind of question, please feel free to ping in the chat and I'll be there to assist you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sparsh. So we'll wait for a few more minutes so that if the participants are having any queries, we can take them up.
Yes, and also Sri Gauri has shared my email address and the official contact number of the company here in the chat box. If anyone is having any query, and at any given point of time, they can freely mail me at marketing@omicslogic.com, or they can contact me at +91 9876 134120, and this number is active on WhatsApp also. How much is the coupon code worth again? So it's 50% discount which we are giving right now, and this coupon code is valid for this month only, because for the like we are giving right now, it's a limited offer till Christmas and New Year. That's it. In the January, there won't be any 50% scholarship. So anyone who is interested in this particular program, please go and avail this opportunity in this particular month only.
Thank you so much, Sparsh. Does the participants are having any other queries? If so, you can unmute yourself and ask them as well. I'm sharing Sparsh contact details once more in the chat, and we will be mailing out today's webinar recordings to your emails as well. So along the way, if you're having any queries, you can reach out to us at marketing@omicslogic.com. And we have one more query from Dr. Avinash. Is discount available on INR payment?
Yes. So whatever, like I have shown different currencies option on the Learn portal. It is active on every currency. It's active on INR also. So Shubham has already shared the coupon code, that's health50. It's HEALT. Yeah, Shubham has once again shared the coupon code. You can see in the chat box. It is applicable for all the currencies, for INR, for dollar, for naira, for Brazilian, for euros, every currency. You just need to apply the coupon code, that is health50, and health is in capitals. That's all.
Thank you, Sparsh. And I guess we have no other queries.
Is it held on Zoom?
Sorry? Could you please repeat your query? Hello, could you please repeat your query? I don't think there was some kind of a disturbance in between. All right, the query is from Syed Nawaj. Is it held on Zoom?
So I guess, Syed, you are asking about the live sessions. So yes, it's a virtual program, and we'll be conducting live sessions through via Zoom only. We'll be sharing the calendar invitation to the participants who will be enrolling for this program, and they can simply join Zoom, ask the questions whatever they feel like they are having, and depending upon the tenure they have chosen, like 60 or 90, they have the other opportunities as well of one-on-one mentorship and the research proposal or the independent research project. I suppose I answered your question.
Thank you so much. Does the participants are having any other queries? Will the recording of this session be available? Yes, it will be available, and we'll be mailing out to you with the insights of today's webinar as well. All right, so I guess we have no further queries. And with that, thank you so much, Dr. Sarkar, and to all the participants for joining today's session. I guess we didn't get the previous recording yet. Yes, we will mail out the previous webinar recording as well once more, so that for those participants who have not received it, they can check your inbox. Please check that if it has not gone to the promotion or spam as well, so you can check those as well. And with that, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Yomfe.